Welcome to the Drive-In Movie Podcast.
Now playing Thunderbolts with a special guest.
Special guest.
Who are you?
My name is Jack. I am 27 years old, and I am from Salt Lake City, Utah.
You're from Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't know what else to say.
You're Jack Lifts.
I've never been on a podcast before.
Wait, Michael, break it out. Break out the thing.
The thing? Oh.
Break out the thing.
This is Jack Lifts?
This is Jack Lifts.
Where'd it go? Where'd you put it?
It's on the side. It's on the
It's
side.
in a black bag in a black car. Okay, this is Jack Lifts of Ghost Energy Drink fame.
Ghost. He's the fake.
Wow,
not.
you brought a surprise.
I sure did.
It's great. It's
It's
the best
great
one.
flavor. Actually, not the best one. It's number 2.
It's the
on my
best
list.
one.
But it's
We're off to a bad
Wait,
start.
what's
You're not
your
saying it's
number
the best
one?
peach. You just
oh,
had
you
peach.
did say that earlier.
Peach
Yeah.
is really good.
I did get a peach and I drank
Yeah.
it during the movie.
Here you go. I feel like you can't make content unless you're holding a ghost.
Unless I'm holding a ghost.
They own you, dude.
I do not own them. I wish I did. That
No,
would be
you sold
amazing.
your soul to Ghost, which is actually kind of fitting. You kind of became a ghost in the process.
Do you know what's really
Yes.
cute? What? Jack and I met almost exactly a year ago.
Well, happy
And
anniversary.
When he first started creating content, he was like, he came to me advice. And the first thing he said was, my biggest goal is I want to work with Ghost.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's true, actually.
Sponsored post.
Hashtag sponsored.
Jack came out of the womb actually saying, I love Ghost Energy Drink.
Wasn't even born yet. Ghost wasn't even invented yet, and
his
I
first
said,
sound was, man, all
beautiful.
right. Well, as much as I love talking ghosts.
Jack, I feel like I've...
Oh, wait!
Wait, no, I gotta say, any Ghost products, use code JACK Jack on the Ghost Lifestyle
Wow.
website.
I feel
like
You
we
can get
deserve a cut of
24%
this.
off.
dropping your promo code.
I gotta drop the promo code. It'll get you 20% off anything on the website. That's all I gotta say.
Good strategy. Before we start talking about the movie, well, speaking of Ghost, because there's a ghost in Thunderbolts, aka Ghost. Missed marketing opportunity by Ghost, honestly.
I know, for real.
Seriously.
Where's the Ghost flavor? The cans, the original can's even white. Like the white mask, it's the same color. Ghost, what are you doing?
I don't think they had the budget for that, honestly.
They could have done it if they tried. Unbelievable. Let's talk Thunderbolts,
to it.
shall we?
Dude, what a movie.
What a movie. What a movie. Let's see if we all agree on it. But first things first, Jack, you're new to the podcast.
Yes.
Have you listened to an episode of the Drive-In Movie Podcast?
I am ashamed to say that I have not listened to a full episode.
the
However, I'm very sorry, but I have watched your clips online because I am a loyal friend, not loyal enough to watch the
He's not a fan
podcast.
yet. He's a friend, not a fan yet.
But yeah, excuse me for my not done homework.
No worries. Well, you better listen to this one. I mean,
Yes, I will.
This is how we rate, okay? It's out of 10 Michaels. Out of 10 Michaels.
for the record, I didn't come up with this
yes,
rating
you did.
system.
Yes, you did.
That would be super
Michael is
weird if I was like, hey,
egotistical.
you know what we should rate our movies on?
Do we get half measures?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
definitely do half Michael.
Okay.
You can do
half Michael.
fractional.
You can do a third of
Fractional.
Michael if you really
Right.
wanted to. All right, Michael. How many Michaels? How many Michaels would you give Thunderbolts?
I'm giving it a solid 8.5 Michaels.
8.5 Michaels.
Yes.
I think I've seen Thunderbolts 3 times now, and I've
Which
always
is
said
insane. Which is it's opening night right now.
He's always
I've never
got to.
seen
He's
it.
always got to flex it a little bit. He's seen it before us.
I was at the premiere in LA. Went to an early screening yesterday, and I
Yeah.
saw it for.
That's it.
But my
He's
rule,
gone to 2 early screenings.
Oh
my
my gosh.
rule has always been this could have been the 4th time. There's actually a screening a week before the LA.
It's
premiere.
opening night, and this was his 4th opportunity to see Thunderbolts.
But I said no. I was like, no, I'm gonna wait a week. But I always say you don't know where a movie truly ranks until you've seen
You
it
do say
3
this.
times.
You do say this.
Yes, I've heard it many times.
Yes, and now I've completed
More
that
than
rule.
3 times.
So this is like the first time I get to like review it on opening night. Already completed that
Yeah.
rule. It's kind of cool.
And okay, so what are you rating it out of 10?
I am
Michaels?
at 8 Michaels.
Okay. Wow, I gave
Wow.
a
Wow.
Marvel project a higher grade than you did.
Yes, you did. 8 Michaels is a great score. To
Yeah.
be clear, we gave
Oh, of
Sinners
course.
9.5 Michaels.
Yeah.
So to be clear,
Yeah.
but yeah, so far it is my 3rd best movie of the year.
Okay, and Jack, what do you
Well,
think?
Michaels?
Well, after hearing your rankings, I feel like I need to change mine.
No, you
But-
stick
But
to your guns.
my initial ranking was 8.5 Michaels. Distinction, the top half of Michael. Okay.
The better one. The better half.
Yeah.
So it's a strong 8.5 Michaels.
Strong.
Interesting. Yeah.
handsome, very funny.
This is good.
Go
This is
on.
the first time they've ever met. You are
Stop
doing it
this.
right.
Here's the thing.
You're doing it right.
I was gonna bring this up earlier. I feel like I've already known you, Jack. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I followed you on social media. BearCon's told me all about you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I feel like this meeting has been long overdue. We met today, for the record.
We're like brothers.
Yeah.
Only closer.
Long way.
With Jack's a lot of SpongeBob references.
Right. So it's kind of interesting. Like, this is an interesting meeting where I met you for maybe 30 minutes before the movie. We watched a full movie together, and now we're recording some of our first ever interaction.
Yeah.
That's kind of cute. When you guys become best friends and replace me, you could
Right.
you'll always have this moment.
There's this.
And Michael asked me a very important question before.
Yeah.
How do I take my burger?
Because
And I thought that was a very interesting question to ask somebody when you first meet them. But it really tells a lot about somebody. I was so surprised. I was like, wow, how do I take my burger?
my icebreaker is, how do you order your hamburger?
And the punchline is to make fun of me.
Right.
Just so we're clear.
It was to prove a point to BearCon, but still, you can learn a lot from somebody.
Our first
For
ever
example-
Starlog episode was, how do you eat your burger?
Right, and I learned that Jack does not like pickles or what was it, pickled onions? Right?
No,
He
I
likes-
get.
It was the jalapenos that you were specific about.
Yeah, I want the
You want
jalapenos.
jalapenos on there.
I do not want pickles, and I do not want tomatoes.
No tomatoes.
Anything else pretty much
Okay.
goes,
Everything
unless it's
else you can think
avocado,
of will go
because
on the
I
burger.
am allergic to avocados. Just so you guys are aware.
Oh,
You
dude,
shouldn't
So
tell you
keep-
shouldn't tell the people that.
Keep those away from me.
Now they're gonna be like, I know Jack will.
I'm gonna get like a dart in my neck someday filled with avocado.
I used to hate pickles. Now I can't imagine living without them.
What?
I can't explain the shift.
I
See-
had a statistics teacher in high school,
Mhm.
and with the prompt, and this was my junior year of high school, and the prompt was, okay, statistically, everyone on planet Earth has had a pickle, so statistically, 100% of people will die. And then I remember sitting there going, I've never had a pickle.
Right.
And for the longest time,
Also,
I would not.
I've never died. So,
But for the longest time, I was
The
like,
key to immortality.
so statistically, I've never had a pickle. So statistically speaking, I'm immortal.
Yeah.
And so for the years, it took me years to eat a pickle after that, and it was by accident.
You know what is the worst thing ever? You go to McDonald's, you order a McDouble, you say no pickles.
And they
You
do
bite
it
and
anyway.
you get a crunch.
yeah.
It makes me want to die.
The worst is Chick-fil-A when it's soaked in the bun.
Yeah, you can still taste it.
This is my most controversial opinion. A lot of people hate me for this, but I'm not a huge fan of the taste of cheese. And so every time I order a hamburger and it comes with cheese,
Are you talking about gorgonzola cheese?
I mean, dude, this is gonna make you hate me. I'm talking pretty much every cheese.
Mm.
I do not like cheese on almost anything.
Wow.
You like pizza?
Yes, but I do it. I like pizza despite the cheesy taste. Here's the
That's how good pizza is.
mac and cheese. Not a huge fan of. Parmesan. Not a huge fan of.
Have you guys seen the podcast of the kids that just talk about food?
Oh,
the
I've heard
broccoli
about
head
that.
kids.
The Foodie Boys.
Yeah, this
I
is
heard about
this is turning into that podcast.
You're right. We should probably talk about Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We
I'm
get-
sorry.
I got the train rolling
the
on.
average.
Yeah.
The average is 8.3, right? 8.4.
math.
Quick math.
It might be
8.4.
I think it's
8.3 Michaels.
I think it's 8.13 repeating.
Okay.
If you take
8.13
Get the
Michaels.
engineer.
8.33.
What is? Okay,
Wait.
we have
Yeah,
two.
it's probably
8.5,
3.
Oh my gosh! Can we just talk about Thunderbolts?
Okay, go on. You're the one who brought up the decimals.
I was trying to be specific and smart.
Okay.
I made a mistake. Clearly.
I also made a mistake for
All
that.
right. Okay. Positives about Thunderbolts. Go.
Dude, this is exactly what I've been asking for in a Marvel project. Every single Marvel project for the longest time has been mid. And everyone's been complaining about how there's not really a through line anymore. There's no new Avengers to watch. But now there is a through line. There's this new group of people, and they're tying this new group into Sam Wilson, and who knows what group Sam Wilson's gonna bring together. And I feel like they are finally starting to bring things together into one cohesive universe again. And this was a fresh take, similar kind of format, with a twist. So a fresh take, but familiar enough to be so good.
Yeah. By the way, we will be talking spoilers. There will be spoilers.
I'm trying to avoid as many as I can.
I think honestly, let's just dive into it.
Okay.
There will be
that's all right.
spoilers. You guys know what our non-spoiler thoughts are. We all enjoyed the movie, so now let's just talk about it.
Official warning.
But I think for me, I really like I said, these are all characters that you maybe weren't like all that psyched about, and I think they pulled off just a team ensemble so well, which is very difficult in films.
Yeah.
To like write each character. I mean, obviously, Yelena was kind of the leading lady of this film, but each character was very important.
She killed it.
She crushed it. I thought the action was great. I love that they kind of went back to more practical effects. There's no CGI complaints in this movie, which is so refreshing.
I had one. There's like
a CGI
there's a shutting door like towards the very beginning that I thought looked very fake. When Bob's trying to leave like the initial room or something, and like a door just slams shut.
Okay.
I was like, but
that was the one little thing.
Yeah.
One little thing. What about you, Jack? What did you think?
Every Marvel movie has a formula, so you kind of expect that, and it didn't let me down this time. So like I wasn't disappointed. Like you can always please me with a Marvel movie. Like I'm never going to be disappointed unless it's Thor: Love and Thunder. I hate that movie with all my life.
Fair. That's how I end with Multiverse of Madness.
However, like it's really hard to disappoint me. That being said, this movie was super well done. And one thing I was not expecting to experience going in this movie was to shed a tear, and I did.
You shed a tear?
I'm a big softie, but man.
Can we guess what moment it was at?
Please do.
Okay. I'm going to guess it's the moment where Yelena and her dad, David Harbour, what his character name is. I'm going to guess it's when they're
Guardian!
Absolutely. That's the moment where I was like, oh man, if I ever heard I have 2 kids. If I ever heard my son talking about himself or my daughter talking about herself that way, that would just break my heart.
Yeah.
And that was like really meaningful to me. So.
Please remind me towards the end of the podcast that you have 2 kids, because there's something I want to talk about with you while you're on here, but I don't want to forget it. So remind me that you have 2 kids.
We'll circle back.
I also like how she shifted from being reserved and calling him Alexei, and then just straight up going like, "You weren't there, Daddy."
Yeah.
Like, and the daddy. Normally that word like gives me the creeps, but they had such great father-daughter chemistry.
Yes.
That it was perfect.
And I loved the growth from like the first movie to the second, like from Black Widow and that family, like not really like.
Yes.
Really acknowledging that they're a family, except for her, and now he's kind of also bought into like, that's my daughter, and like seeing his reaction to the moment where he thought he lost her was like, that was great for me.
Yes.
I don't know if this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I have something that's been nagging me, like ever since we finished this movie. I think Yelena is the Ahsoka of the MCU. Where she's this character that they introduced pretty late in the MCU after everyone thought the hype was died down, like past the peak. And I think that she's the character that can save the MCU. Like I think we're gonna be watching it for her.
I'm gonna clip this, and then I need to send it to my friends at the Skate Pod, because they just did a clip where they didn't say this.
Okay.
But they were comparing like Marvel characters to their Star Wars counterparts, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, that has a lot of potential there.
I thought that was an original
That's
thought.
so good. And you know what? Ahsoka turns into this like incredible Jedi, right? So unsure of herself, dealing with like identity issues. So unsure, but she's incredible, right?
Yes. She
I also think
saved the franchise.
Yelena also, I think, is better than Black Widow.
Oh, absolutely.
I think she's better than Scarlett Johansson. 1,000%. Not Scarlett Johansson. Natasha Romanoff.
That's a tough role to live up to. But
I think she
we'll
is.
see.
I think she's better.
And what has she been in? Like 2 or 3 projects?
Enjoyable to watch.
What, Jack? What were you saying?
It's really big shoes to fill.
An original Avenger.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm not saying you're wrong yet, but like we'll see.
Here's the thing, though. I do feel like her and Hawkeye were like the weakest Avengers, not just physically, but also kind of like as characters. People just cared less about them versus Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, etc.
Yeah, that's true.
I cared.
Scarlett
Johansson.
We all cared about all of them, but I feel like I cared less about them than I did. But the Hawkeye show, I think, really upped my respect for Clint as a character. But they didn't give Black Widow like her own project until after she had already died in Endgame.
Did you hear what happened today?
No.
while we're talking about Hawkeye.
What?
So Jeremy Renner went on. I think he was doing an interview. I don't know if it was a podcast or an interview, but all the news outlets are talking about it because he very openly said they offered me a role Hawkeye season 2, but I turned it down because they offered me half the money they did for season 1.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just, and he went on this whole like thing about like it's not really Disney, it's not Marvel, it's like penny pictures, but it's like why are you offering me half? Is it because you think I'm half the Jeremy because I was run over?
Right.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's because of his accident?
Maybe we don't know.
You
But
can
those are his
truly
words.
know, but
I
wow.
completely forgot that he was in an accident.
Yeah, he was run over by a snowcat.
Yeah, I remember
My
that.
theory on that is that they would kill him off like halfway through the show, so it's like, oh, here's half the money.
Maybe.
You know,
Does
like
he think he can still?
I wonder what the script looked like.
Does he think he can still play this part? Like,
I think he could, but he wasn't announced for Doomsday so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if this conversation made me wonder, is Hawkeye going to be in Doomsday?
Right.
You know what he needs to bring back though is the Jeremy Renner app.
What is that?
Oh, I was
You don't know about that? Dude, I was #1 fan. Look it up after this. We don't have to talk about it.
Wait, what is it?
He's trying to make his own app for like super fans to create like a community, and it kind of fell through. Did people like accuse it of being a scam or something?
Yeah, I think there might have been like a premium subscription or something like that.
No.
It was basically like
It's kind of a cool.
But you know he makes music too, so that like you could get like premium access to his music
Oh,
and
okay.
things
I
like
didn't
that.
know he made music.
Yeah.
He's
That's
not to be confused with the musician Florence
Michael
Pugh.
thought Florence Pugh was a musician.
I thought Florence Pugh was the Florence of Florence and
Yeah,
the
he's like,
machine.
it must be really like to be like so like open and
I thought it was so
fun
cool that
for-
she could be both a movie star and a rock star.
And we're all just sitting there like, what?
I thought, wow.
I was like, wow, I didn't know she had game like that.
Hannah Montana?
I was like, she's a double threat.
It's the best of both.
Because there's all these
man.
musicians who like also dip their toe into acting, and a lot of them are bad. And I thought, wow, Florence Pugh's really killing it in both worlds. I didn't realize there were two different. How many Florences are there? 2?
A lot.
3?
I feel like there's a lot.
There can't be more than 4 Florences. I have not
Florence
met a
Italy,
single
Florence
Florence.
Pugh.
I wanna go into some negatives of Thunderbolts. Again, I've seen this movie 3 times, so now I'm specifically looking for things that I don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why it's an 8 out of 10, I don't think like it's not that it's so well written, right? It's so well written, the action's great, it just doesn't like hype me that much. I guess.
I watched it and enjoyed it, but I didn't get like excited. Yeah.
The audience participation in
There's a
this
couple
movie,
great scenes though.
Yeah, but like I've said this before, but Marvel opening nights used to be audience participating events where people would clap, like yell at the screen.
Last night people were going nuts in my screen.
Yeah.
Tonight I was disappointed.
This one was very calm, and again, it's opening night. You saw an early screening, so it's like I will say that like this movie had moments where I thought that there would be people who were like making noise in the theater. You know?
Yeah, there definitely should
and
have
there
been.
just wasn't. And so I will say, like, I think that to y'all's point, I think maybe if there was more audience participation, it would have felt more like a hype movie.
But
Yeah.
again, it could just be at an 8 out of 10 because maybe now I've seen it 3 times too quickly.
Uh-huh.
But my point though is like the only things that are truly like nitpicky, were like small little details.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I didn't necessarily like, you brought up the same points actually.
Okay, so you thought the same thing?
I thought the same thing.
Okay.
I thought the same thing twice in a row. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Go ahead and say it.
You want me to say it?
Go ahead.
How does Ghost know where they are?
Yeah.
Walking out of the secret space.
This guy's
Just this. Oh man, that your truck just pulls up to these 3 dudes, and
She's
this
like,
guy's
"Hey,
from
guys,
behind.
How did she know?
Yelena, Bob, and Walker are all in disguise, not facing the truck. Ghost pulls up to the 3 of them in disguise from behind and immediately knows it's them and goes, "Get in, guys." That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
However, it's such a small point.
It's so, like, all of these are very nitpicky.
Yeah.
The second one, which also just kind of, it didn't bother me the first time. It bothered me the last 2 times. When they're going up the tunnel,
Yeah.
why is there just an open door?
Yeah.
He's like, I see the door, and I'm like, why?
Well, I guess it's an elevator shaft, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
But,
no,
like-
it's not an elevator. There's no like.
I thought it was an
maybe
elevator.
Maybe there's a second floor.
Maybe it was.
You're saying the elevator
below
doors were already
before
open?
they-
Yeah, they're already open.
Okay.
Why?
That's a great question.
I didn't
Some
even
sort
know
of
that.
industrial
I did
minimalist type of style. I don't know.
I did love how they went up the elevator Emperor's New Groove style.
Yeah, I do love that.
Yeah.
I also like.
I thought it was actually funny.
It was funny, and everything made sense. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, okay, this is the reason, and it's superpowers.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Also,
like, every situation they were in, they logically got out of it.
I loved how every character was an anti-hero. Every single character had nuance.
Yeah.
And a complicated history and chemistry with each other. Even if it's like sarcastic, like do I hate you, do I love you kind of chemistry. And I loved how the villain was not actually a villain. In 2025, I think people are tired of the traditional villain, and we need a complex villain.
Yeah.
This movie delivers.
Yeah, and one thing I really like about Sentry, let me say I don't like the concept of Sentry. Like I've never liked those types of heroes.
He's a bit much.
I don't like when they are unbeatable.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like that Sentry is unbeatable. It's why like. When it comes to like the boys in Homelander, like there's very obvious flaws that you can get to Homelanders. Sentry to me, like I'm like, oh, there's not really necessarily a flaw with him outside like the kill switch, right? But if you don't have the kill switch, like what are you gonna do?
And obviously the kill switch didn't even matter. Yeah. Here's my main gripe with the movie is that like after everything's said and done, he just like doesn't remember that he had powers.
Oh, that's another thing. I didn't like that he came back from the void and his hair was like back to
normal. And he doesn't remember. He doesn't know that he has powers. He's like, "Oh, what happened, guys? That was a weird dream." Yeah. And he still can't use them, even when we find out in the post-credit scene. It's been like however long,
14 months.
And he's like, "Oh, sorry, guys."
Yeah, they erased all of his character development with that because in those like last few minutes there was so much growth. And then they just completely erased it immediately.
I do think like they filled him in, like they like let him know. So like he's like he
yeah,
has like
for sure.
He has like awareness of what happened, which is
He
why
knows
he's
what
like,
happened.
no, I can't. Now it's more actually interesting because it's like a fear. Like in Doomsday, when we see him, he's gonna be scared to fight Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
He's gonna be. There's probably gonna be a moment in Doctor Doom where all hope is lost. And Sentry may be the only person who can stop him, but he won't, and that could be the cliffhanger, because he's too scared of the void.
It was so interesting how the main villain of this movie is literally mental illness. It's really not Bob.
No.
It's Bob's mental illness is the main villain. And it's like, this movie was like, had so many allegories to like different types of mental illness even. Like, I mean, obviously, like the bipolar disorder, depression. There's like a scene that kind of might have struggled with alcoholism, and it's like, and even the way that they fought the villain was very. I don't even know if it's symbolic or literal, because it's like, I don't know how much of it was symbol and how much of it was like, you guys are literally fighting mental illness with like, and you guys are mentioning like proper methods almost, where it's like actually fighting it is not what you want to do. You kind of want to. Accept it, lean on others, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I thought. Sorry to interrupt you, but I thought the with Val and with Sentry, the way that they go through it is what they want to do each time, and I thought that was kind of weird, but definitely like a definitive choice. We're doing what they want us to do.
Yeah.
Like, and then it gets to the point where Val is like, okay, here are the new Avengers, and they just kind of like go along with it, but. Each to that point, she says, "I want you to fight him, so like I can prove to the press that he's my hero."
Right. Yeah.
And they still fight him, even though they know that's the choice that they want.
Yeah.
That she wants them to make. It's
well, they're also
very
there's a
interesting.
level of they're so like eager to prove themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be so interesting. Also in Avengers Doomsday is the dynamic of seeing the new Avengers with the other Avengers. Like they're going to have trouble. Like
speaking of the Avengers, this is Jack's segment. Welcome to. Which Avenger would win against 100 gorillas? Okay, first contestant. Would Iron Man win against 100 gorillas? Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay, which stage of Iron Man too? Because the suit gradually gets better.
No, from Iron Man 1.
So we gotta think in terms of suit models. So not the first one, not the second one that's unpainted. Mark III. Iron Man 2008.
Interesting.
No, I don't think
100 gorillas.
100 gorillas.
Yes, absolutely.
No,
I think
he has missiles on the suit.
Okay,
he flies up in the air.
Think about it this way, though. Think about it this way. 100 gorillas has to like equal Thanos, right? What?
But when
I think Thanos is way better than 100 gorillas.
I don't know.
he can outsmart 100 gorillas. Next contestant, Tom Holland Spider-Man.
No.
Squash like a bug, or
I don't think Spider-Man. 100 gorillas. I think one rhino overwhelms Spider-Man. Spider-Man can beat Rhino, but 100 rhinos, he's cooked.
no, yeah, he's cooked. He's
So like 100 gorillas,
Correct
I feel like it's
answer.
in the same realm.
That's a great point. I was gonna say he's slippery enough to like kind of like keep your distance, just web him up.
Spider-Man only deals with animal-like villains. Okay, 100 of them, he struggles with 6 of them.
Yes, that's true. Okay, next contestant for the to keep it relevant to the movie we just saw, John Walker.
No.
Post serum.
Hell no. Hell no.
Okay, to flip it, 100 John Walkers against one gorilla.
Yeah.
But pre-serum.
Yeah. Oh, pre-serum?
Pre-serum.
No.
I do think that 100 guys can take on one gorilla.
Absolutely not, dude.
I don't think so.
I saw this video today. 1,100 pounds of force when they're running half speed. Shout out to the nutrition narc for that video. Please look it up.
I think they're gonna run out of steam. A gorilla's gonna run out of steam.
No.
Versus 100, you just wear them down.
No.
They're like playthings to the gorilla. The humans
I
are like
think a
playthings.
girl will grab one person by the leg and just start like swinging.
But there are 100 of them. That's the thing. When you go swinging, that your arm's gonna get tired.
He picks up a next one.
But I think the girl.
The other arm.
That girl's got 2 arms.
Oh, yeah, 2 arms. And he's got thumbs on his foot too. He just uses legs.
He can do 4 people at once if he really wanted to.
25 people per limb. I still think that's a lot.
That's 100 people.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a lot. I don't know. I think
I am so lonely. Next up, I don't know. Give me somebody.
Do we think that Thor could beat 100 gorillas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, lightning.
So that means also probably Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Yes. Easy.
Okay. Black Panther?
How would Daredevil do?
Daredevil. No.
Daredevil would be so done.
Yeah, he gets hit too easily.
Spider-Man can't beat 100 gorillas.
Daredevil gets beaten
All the time.
crazy all the time.
Yeah, he's so beat up.
Daredevil can barely take on 10 guys. Like, you know, like,
But put him in a hallway against the 100 gorillas. Easy.
That's where he's in his element. He's in his prime in a hallway.
He's like, okay, this is a one-shot take.
Yeah.
You guys are all going down. 100 gorillas.
Yeah, if it's one shot in a hallway, Daredevil wins.
Do we think Black Panther can beat 100 gorillas?
Is he in the suit where he
Yes.
takes in momentum?
Yes.
No.
I don't think the gorillas can break the vibranium.
It sounds so bad. I can't remember the guy with the gorilla mask. Can we remember his name?
The gorilla mask?
Bot?
What's he from?
No, yeah, he's
He's like the tribe leader in Wakanda
yeah,
that
it
like
starts with a B.
saves him.
Oh.
God, I don't know.
I don't
Bucky?
even. It's something like that.
Buck?
It sounds so terrible that we don't remember his name.
Yeah, it does sound
He's
terrible.
goated. I think he befriends the 100 gorillas
Interesting.
because he's like wearing the gorilla mask in the
I see.
in the duel on
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
water
I think so.
on the waterfall.
I think so.
And is he the vegetarian guy? He's like, we don't eat meat.
I don't know. I can't remember. I need to rewatch.
I think so.
In
I
Black
think
Panther
so.
1, are we talking about the guy who's like?
The snow tribe.
Just kidding. We're vegetarians.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So maybe he has a way with animals.
Maybe. Okay. What about Red Guardian?
Ant-Man's cooked. Red Guardian's cooked.
No, Ant-Man easily wins because he just pulls the
if he becomes
Thanos.
giant man.
No.
Oh,
That
he
too.
goes to the
He just
butt
goes
of
up
all the
into
gorillas?
the butt and explodes all of them one by
people are
one.
gonna say that Invincible proves that theory incorrect, which I still think is crap.
No, dude. There's no way Ant-Man has the durability to break apart a Viltrumite.
But The Boys proves it correct. So 2 out of 3.
Factual.
Yes.
I can't watch The Boys. It's too much. It's too gross.
You're
I
missing
can't get
out.
into
You're
it.
missing out. The Boys is incredible.
I watched like 2 seasons of it, and then
Just
I was
lean
like,
it. The Boys is the reason why I can watch things like Final
when they
Destination.
introduced Nazis, I was like, "You're losing me. This is a lot. This is a lot." I've already watched.
Yeah,
I've already
that's
watched
fair.
Homelander drinking breast milk. Like, there's more blood and guts than I can handle.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't hate on breast milk, okay?
I'm not.
It's got a lot of protein.
It's just he clearly has a thing for it. Not
Yeah,
for
when you got a
purpose.
thing for it, I give you that, but it's very healthy.
Ridiculous.
Sure, to babies.
Jack, that was a good segment. I want to go back to now. Did you have one more?
No, I do have something to talk about for Thunderbolts, though.
Okay, well, I was going to go back to Thunderbolts because I wanted to go back and talk about the new Avengers dynamic that could potentially play in Doomsday. I really genuinely think that the two teams like clashing is going to be so much fun to watch because like Sam Wilson's going to try to have a coordinated attack and then the Red Guardian's going to be like for the glory and then like run towards like Doomsday and then just get swat. He may die.
Dude, I do think that matchup is going to be like Captain America Civil War 2.
There are going to be many that perish, I believe.
Yeah, Doomsday. No one's safe.
I don't think I'm going to care about a lot of them though. A lot of
a
people
fair
die.
take.
I'm like, because in Infinity War, you kind of cared about every character who died. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this movie was very similar to Guardians of the Galaxy in that it's like this ragtag group of people who you wouldn't think would make like a great team, and then they come together and have such good chemistry and become a family. And by the end of it, you're like, this is one of the best parts of the MCU.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys think
This is what Eternals should have been too?
Oh,
Because nobody gives a
Eternals
shit
has
about
so
Eternals.
much yeah.
But there are a bunch of really cool, powerful heroes who are a family.
I want to say a hot take.
Yeah.
I really liked Eternals. When I saw it in the theater, I was like, "Wow, that was actually really great." And then I got on Twitter, and everyone hated it, and I was like,
Yeah, it
"What
sucks.
the hell?" No, I did not agree with them. I still don't to this day.
Have you seen it again?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I have not rewatched.
So it holds up to you.
Eternals is one of the very few. Eternals and Thor: Love and Thunder. They're the only two projects in MCU I've not seen multiple times.
I've only seen Thor: Love and Thunder twice. My hot take is I thought it was fine. Everyone hates it. I thought it was fine.
My hot take is that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 sucks. But
Right, and people hate you.
people hate me for that.
It's not my favorite, for sure.
Thank you, Jack.
The soundtrack's great. It doesn't have a lot going for it, but Volume 3,
Oh,
so good.
Now, while we're talking about like what's good, what's bad, do we think Thunderbolts is a top 10 MCU movie?
I think so.
I hesitate.
I think it is in the top 10, or it's like right outside the top 10.
10
After
is
the
like-
third rewatch, that's where I'm at.
Top 10 is like pretty much half of the
Let's go
movies.
through it. Shall we try to go through it?
I don't know.
I'm talking about what we think the top 10 is. Okay, so I think just to start with
It's gotta be Infinity War.
I think Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Captain America: Civil War,
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes.
Do we have the original Avengers in there?
I think the original Avengers movie is fine. And I think it sets up a lot. I don't think it's actually like a great movie. And walking out of the theater, when it actually premiered, I remember thinking like, I thought that was going to be better.
Ooh,
I was hyped for the
okay,
future,
okay.
but I did think I thought that was going to be a better
Okay.
movie.
Do you think Shang-Chi is a top 10 Marvel movie?
Okay, I think we need to figure out some other ones too.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think Shang-Chi, I mean, it has potential.
Okay.
It's really strong.
I've only seen it the once, and I still think it's probably the best origin movie.
I still think Ant-Man has an argument.
For top 10,
But Thunderbolts might boot it out, to be honest. It's possible. I don't... Ant-Man's really good. It's such a fun rewatch. Like, it's so enjoyable every single time you watch it. So that's why, to me, I think it has an argument.
Interesting.
So what other movies do we think are... Age of Ultron? I think it's better than people give it credit for.
I think it ages well. I think it grows on you.
The original Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is top 10.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
So now
what are we at? Like
that's like
That was it, like
Age of
8 and
Ultron,
9.
Guardians of the
I
Galaxy.
think.
That's 8. So I think we're at 9 and 10.
I think okay, you throw in Shang-Chi and you throw
You are
in
leaving.
Thunderbolts.
I love
You are
Shang-Chi.
leaving a very heated subject between you and
Winter
me.
Soldier. I
Winter
know.
Soldier.
Okay, you know what? I give Winter Soldier its grief. I do think it's a top 10 MCU movie.
I've probably seen it 3 times or less, and during none of my rewatches, I thought like, wow, that was amazing. I know that's a fan favorite. I've never thought it was amazing. I always just thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and I recognize that it's basic to like love it so much, but I just do.
I tried rewatching it 2 weeks ago. I tried rewatching it 2 weeks ago, and I struggled. Just if we're being honest, I was knocked out.
I just remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Really?
I'm sorry. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody's sworn up to this point, and then it came out.
I actually,
I think my glass. So yeah, I think Thunderbolts might actually.
It might be
Wait,
low on the top
no,
10.
Black Panther.
Black Panther, you're right. And also, you guys would probably put Deadpool and Wolverine up there. I personally
Yes,
do not.
yes,
Yeah.
I love Deadpool.
So
and
maybe
Wolverine.
Thunderbolts isn't a top. No, you know what though? I do think I'd put Thunderbolts over Winter Soldier. I do.
I definitely would.
I think.
I think you've seen it 3 times and you can speak to it better, but I don't think I can put it. I don't think I can rank it yet. It was great.
I think it's 11 for me,
Interesting.
which is a great score. Yeah, I mean we have like over 50 projects in the MCU. Yeah, we're just talking great score.
Over 50?
There's so many now.
I thought there were like maybe 30.
I mean this includes movies and TV shows.
Right.
But if we're talking top 10 MCU TV shows, I think are involved.
Okay. I have a different question for you guys. Do you think that Bob could beat Captain Marvel when he's going full demon mode?
Oh.
When Bob is like fully like at 100% power, do you think?
The written word is that he is stronger than every Avenger combined.
Valentina made a crazy claim that he's stronger than every single Avenger combined.
I think you have to put it to the test, and I told you this in the theater.
Yeah.
When we were waiting for the post-credit scenes. If you take that one part in Endgame where she gets like the full power of like the Space Stone to her face.
Yeah.
And she like flies the other way because of the impact. If you take that scene and you like put him in that spot, if he withstands the blow, then yes. But other than that, like there's no way to tell.
I think Captain Marvel wins just because she has cosmic power. You know?
Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Captain America for a second.
No, Captain Marvel has cosmic power.
Yes. Do we think Scarlet Witch wins?
No.
Interesting. I think she can do some tricky stuff with the magic.
She can
Yeah,
do some tricky
she
stuff
could
for
try.
sure, but he's so fast.
Nobody had any powers like
so
that.
fast. Like I think that's a big aspect. That Captain Marvel's not
But
that
from
fast.
a distance, and he doesn't even know who's attacking him.
Right.
She gets in his mind, and
He clearly has some type of sense, though. Like he sensed like she was about Valentina was gonna push the button.
yeah.
He can literally like read minds basically. I do think he beats Thor.
Yeah.
Does he beat Thanos with all the Infinity Stones? Or at least with like 5 of the 6?
Because
With all of them, he can just snap.
I
or
think the
whatever.
whole point of having all the Infinity Stones is nothing in the universe can beat.
Okay, but what if he had like 5? What if he had everything but the Mind Stone? Like when he's fighting on Titan or whatever
He
it's
could
called.
probably Sentry could probably rip it off his hand a lot easier than Iron Man could.
Yeah. So we think Sentry alone beats 5 Stone Thanos.
Yes, I think so.
Crazy.
Now I'm not a comic. I don't know if he could in the comics. I don't know.
What do you think?
In the comics, I can't even really speak to that. Like I've read some of the comics with Thanos with like full Infinity Stone power, but I'm too far removed from that to like really speak to it. But my opinion is that he would probably win because you can just snap.
That's only if he has all of the stones.
Yeah.
Oh, with one
minus
missing.
one stone.
One missing.
I think the speed plays a huge factor. I think that's so underrated.
And he can fly.
Yeah.
Well, he can.
The one person
It seems
who
like he
has
can
the
manipulate
speed-
matter, so he just cuts off the arm with his mind.
Who, Thanos?
No,
Because Thanos can also manipulate matter.
true.
With the reality
True,
stone?
but if he's fast enough, he can just
That's what I'm telling you. Though
arm
I
slice.
think the speed. I don't know with Time Stone. It's such an interesting debate.
Because he does fight Captain Marvel and basically every other Avenger in Endgame. And no one, like everyone's having a hard time taking him down, even though he's fighting everyone like one after one after, you know.
Could Sentry beat Omni-Man?
I think so. I think they're comparable in strength and speed and flight and everything.
I still think Omni-Man would win.
How?
Because Omni-Man, if they're comparable in everything else, I'm going to go with the person who's more ruthless.
But Sentry could just shadow him.
Well, that's not Sentry. That's the Void.
I'm talking. Okay, even if you kill Sentry, he becomes the Void.
That's true.
I'm talking full demon mode.
But that's a different question.
I think Bob is not fully dead. Like I think Nolan gets wrecked even if he kills Sentry.
If he kills Sentry, the Void will be
Before
for sure.
Yeah.
Bob is fully
For
dead,
sure.
I think he kills basically anybody.
For sure. I have a new question. Or actually, were you about to say something? Okay, I have a new question.
What's up?
Who do we think in the MCU, like out of all the superheroes we've seen, who do we think's a virgin? I thought about this while watching this movie.
Bob
If Ghost
definitely.
can't leave her suit, then she can't She has to be a virgin,
Why were
right?
you thinking about Ghost having
Because they were
sex?
talking about her butt, and I was like, man, that's like I was thinking about all the things you can't do without the suit,
Right.
and
Can she go
having
to the
sex is
bathroom?
one of them.
Yeah.
How does she go to the bathroom?
How does she go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like doesn't Iron Man have like a bathroom in his suit?
I don't
Yes.
know.
No, he does. He has a line
does.
about it where he's like, people ask me all the time, how do I go to the bathroom in the suit? Just did.
Just like
So
that.
Ghost has to also have one.
Probably, but there's no. Where is there a place for? Is there a hole?
I don't know.
So Ghost is a virgin. Who else in MCU do we
I've
think is a virgin?
literally never thought about this before, so
Well, let's think about it.
off the top
I
of
think
my head, I have no idea.
Spider-Man has to be a
Peter
virgin at this
Parker,
point.
yes.
Tom Holland, Spider-Man has to be a
But
virgin.
you don't think he and Zendaya?
Him and Zendaya are in high school and they were dating for like 2 weeks. Nah, they weren't there yet. Yeah, there was like summer. They came back. Okay, few months, but I don't think they got to that point. Not yet. Okay. Peter Parker's still a boy in the MCU.
Quite literally, Vision does not have genitals that we
That's true.
that we know
That's
of.
true.
But it's
Which means
some
we
type
all-
of multiverse thing. They did have kids.
Oh, so you think that maybe in
Fair.
WandaVision, some version of him? and
Yeah,
Wanda-
I mean, Billion,
Well,
them, yeah, they
Oh,
exist.
frick, you're
They
right.
exist somehow.
I don't know. I literally have no idea.
Star-Lord definitely. Star-Lord, he's been laid.
Canonically.
Yeah, absolutely.
From like
We know Tony Stark, Steve Rogers has been.
Canonically.
Yep. Thor definitely.
Yes.
Bruce Banner. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't.
Yes, he has a kid.
He didn't become Hulk until later in life.
That was his kid?
He was his kid.
In She-Hulk?
That's his son?
Yes.
I didn't realize
Oh,
that was
you
his
guys
son.
haven't read any comics. Planet
told you I
Hulk,
haven't
dude.
read
It's
that
literally
much.
his kid.
I'm like Spidey exclusive.
Okay.
I haven't read any of the comics.
Interesting.
Do you have any other theories, Bear?
Theories are like, what kind of theories?
No. I mean,
Oh,
like, do you have any other character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see. I gotta go through. I think Groot's a virgin.
Yeah, Groot's gotta be. Do they even procreate like that? I feel like
I don't know how they do it. How did Groot
Obviously
make
they don't
babies?
because we saw how he did. The original Groot died and like left the seed behind, and then he grew from a pot.
Is there only one Groot?
No.
That was like a
Seed
that was
has
a
to be fertilized.
that was an offspring.
How's the seed fertilized?
Oh.
How are Groots made?
I don't know.
Jack, you're the
I
dad.
don't know. Well, when two Groots love each other very much.
I think that was a good list.
I think that was a good list.
Did you? Oh, by the way, Jack, we do this thing called homework. We're starting this thing called homework, where we give each other like basically like watch assignments because Bearcon's always telling me to watch stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always telling him to watch stuff. So now we have this obligation to each other, do this podcast where we have to watch what each other suggests. Have you seen a single episode of The Last of Us? Bearcon, you literally were the one who was like, I will watch 4 episodes. I am only
I'm
asking
so
for a single
disappointed in
episode.
you. I will say, before we go any further, I have not seen episodes 2 or 3 of the second season.
I haven't seen any of it. I haven't started the second season. He hasn't
Okay.
even seen the pilot.
Okay, so I've
But I
seen
played the games.
I've seen the most here. But
Right.
you played the games.
So I know the whole
I'm
story.
spoiled for what comes next.
Has the event happened yet?
No.
Okay, but you know what the event is.
Yes.
I know
Okay,
the
I'm not
event.
gonna.
I know what the event.
Par 3.
I will say,
yeah.
I know what happens.
Well, they might not.
They might know. But I'm saying, like, I know what happens.
Okay.
Which has always been kind of a turn off. Part of the reason why it's
A lot of people didn't like it also when the game came out.
No, it's not that. It's like, I just don't like that I know.
Oh, right, yeah. You already know a big.
Yeah. I got spoiled to that at the end of season 1, so I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
It
Is what it is.
A lot of people were like, how are they even going to do a season 2? You know what I mean? Okay, I watched more of Andor, so I've been doing my homework.
Proud of you, buddy.
We might have to scrap this thing if you're not going to watch it.
I will do it. I will do it. I have a flight. I cannot say where I'm going, so I know you both know. Do not say where I'm going.
I actually don't know.
You know, but we won't talk about it. But I do have a flight, and then I have a good chunk of a day where I've literally nothing else to do. So I will do it. I tried doing it on the flight back from Los Angeles from the Thunderbolts premiere, but it didn't finish downloading. And I was very surprised because I was like, I started this last night. Why didn't you download?
Sounds like a personal problem.
Shut up, Jack. So
I haven't seen any Andor. I can't even say anything.
So for Doomsday, for Avengers Doomsday, who do we think is coming back? Do we think that Loki is going to come back?
He's already confirmed.
Oh, he is. Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know any confirmed.
You didn't listen to the Avengers Doomsday Drive-In Movie Podcast episode where I went through all of this?
I listened to it. I did not.
You did not listen to it.
I by assumption, I assume you were there.
No, he wasn't there.
That
the one
solo episode?
Did an emergency
solo
it was an
episode.
emergency pod, and you didn't even listen to the emergency
I listened
pod.
to it. I wasn't taking
And you expect everybody to go follow at the Drive-In Movie Podcast. At the Drive-In Movie Pod. Subscribe.
You don't even know that.
You didn't even listen to a full episode. Unbelievable.
Is Scarlet Witch coming back?
She was not announced.
I think she probably will.
We didn't see a body, so she's not dead.
I'm
Yep,
slightly
it's true.
concerned that she will not come back. Because Elizabeth Olsen has been talking about not really being interested in doing Marvel stuff anymore, which I feel like you don't say if you are going to come back.
But maybe she's saying that to get
It's a
bigger
psyop.
paycheck.
Maybe, but it
It's a
kind of feels like
psyop.
a
It's a
line.
psyop.
It kind of feels like a line. Like, okay, if you're saying like it's not necessarily a positive thing, you know, most
That's
people
okay.
are
They're okay with that. They're okay with that.
we'll see. I don't know.
They
We'll
really
see.
gotta
Also,
sell it
Natalie
if
Portman
she's
said
gonna
that.
And they brought her back for
Yeah, but after it took years.
and money.
Yeah, and money. This is true.
So I'm not.
They did do a
about
whole Thor movie without her.
Yeah, but then they also did a whole Thor movie with her.
That's true. That's true.
Where she's the main character.
I do think. I don't think Tom Holland's Spider-Man's going to be in Doomsday.
Right. I did see your video on that.
Yeah, because it does seem like Brand New Day will take place during the events of Doomsday.
Dude, Pedro Pascal, by the way, is in everything now.
Everything.
He's like
Such a dilf.
he's like the best character in new Star Wars. He's gonna be in the MCU. He's gonna be Dr. Reed. He's got his own fucking HBO original that is like a major like video game adaptation. So it's already got like a cult following. The dude has fan bases on fan bases.
Yes.
Dude does not sleep. I saw my man appear in Mandalorian Grogu movie comes out the same month as Secret Wars.
Wow.
Just a couple weeks after. But I saw this man appear at Star Wars Celebration and the London premiere of Thunderbolts like the next day. And Star Wars Celebration was in Japan. But can we talk about how Thunderbolts spoiled their credit scene before it even started?
Yes.
Thank God you guys warned me about that.
I warned both of them that was going to happen, and Jack still
I just glanced over and saw the spoiler, and I was like, "Oh shit, there it is."
It was crazy how quick that happened.
Yeah.
So what was it in the credits?
Okay, in the credit, literally right before the credit scene, okay, in the music bits, they, again, spoiler warning if
Music
you haven't
credits.
seen it, you don't want to know.
Yeah, at this point,
At this point,
Yeah.
spoiler warning, but in the music, they say Fantastic Four First Steps main theme. And then 2 seconds later, the credit scene starts.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, well, clearly this has to be
Yeah.
what the credit scene is about.
Yeah.
Granted, they're at the very end of the credit scene, and it's still like 2 minutes, which, by the way, that is the longest credit scene Marvel's ever done.
Yeah. It was a long one, and I think it was good that it was long because you really see how they come together
Yeah.
after it, and they're
It's a
like
good
a
time
team.
jump. But
Don't know how I feel about the new logo though.
The
The
new
new Avengers logo.
Well,
the new
with the
Avengers
Z
logo.
or
Well, no, the Z, the red one that they're all wearing on their suits. I was like, that looks weird.
it is interesting.
We
but
could always be
Sacrilegious.
team Sam Wilson's Avenger.
Yes.
I don't think this new logo is meant to last. I do think my theory for Doomsday, I do think some of the Thunderbolts will.
Yeah, well, I know you guys haven't read any of the comics about Secret Wars and things like that.
I've read Secret Wars.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I read the original Secret Wars. And actually, I want to bring up a very interesting point about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've only read it once, and I read it over... Back when I first started making content,
Yeah.
and I made a video where I was like, I think Secret Wars is going to be a multiverse like movie,
Uh-huh.
and it's going to be crazy because I think we could see like Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. It's going to be nuts. People clown me. It was the one and only time I've ever trended on Twitter because people were making fun of me as the face of like movie talk who doesn't read comics. And I was like, guys, I'm just giving you a theory.
Yeah.
And then I was bullied into being on live stream for 5 to 6 hours where I did nothing but read Secret Wars. Because I was so like nervous of being canceled. Because I'd never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they're like, Avengers Secret Wars is going to be the conclusion of the multiverse saga. And nobody, I was like, I told you! Y'all bullied me for nothing. Nobody cared.
Vindication, validation.
Revenge.
I could be very wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure there's like a second run of Secret Wars that's like modern that is quite literally multiversal war.
There is. Nobody cared when I brought that up. Anyway, I read the original, and the original was so interesting because it was this dynamic of like the Avengers versus like the Avengers and like the X-Men being separated, correct?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting seeing that, but I think more so, I actually think it's going to divide will be within like this new Avengers and the other Avengers. But the X-Men thing would be significantly more interesting, and we already know they're going to be in the movie, so why not do that?
3 groups. Battle World is going to be a thing, I believe.
Yeah, I think Battle World will.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like a tournament arc? What is that going to be?
Battle World is going to be. Again, this isn't necessarily a spoiler because we don't know if they're going to do this, but it's heavily theorized that Battle World is going to be what Secret Wars takes place in when Doom wins in Doomsday, and all these universes kind of collide into one planet. That's Battle World. Right?
Yeah, and I think
or he puts them on.
I can't remember it because it's been a couple years, but it's like a few different groups. And it's like if you don't win against me or against each other, I can't remember. Then your worlds collide, and that's actually canonically where we get Miles Morales Spider-Man.
This is true. That is true.
They're not gonna.
They might. Why not?
How is that gonna like tie into?
This would be after Spider-Verse.
Needless to say, do we think that Sony and Marvel Disney are going to have 2 separate Miles Moraleses?
I think potentially yes.
Because we did have Donald Glover's with Prowler.
Miles Morales has already been. We had the seeds have already been dropped.
We had Andrew Garfield.
Very much so.
We had some cameos in Across the Spider-Verse to tie in the Sony Spider-Verse into the MCU Spider-Verse. However, it's like one of the formats is animated and one is live action.
So it's going to be a different Miles. Because like we were saying, they planted seeds in the MCU about Miles Morales already existing. You have Spider-Man: Homecoming, where Don Glover's character is referencing his nephew.
Yes, and then that same Donald Glover is in Across the Spider-Verse.
And then also in Daredevil, they mention Officer Morales. Like he's name dropped.
Yes.
You can only assume like, okay, well, Marvel's not gonna have multiple Officer Morales.
We also have Jamie Foxx saying, "I thought you would be black."
Yeah, like so
there's like a reference
no
to Miles
doubt
Morales.
in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that there will be a Miles Morales in the MCU very, very soon in this next Spider-Man trilogy. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right.
I was just thinking about this because my son is so obsessed with Into the Spider-Verse right now. He's 4, lives in a Miles Morales Spider-Man costume. Miles Morales is this generation's like pivotal Spider-Man. Ours was Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
There's a whole generation of kids who was Andrew Garfield.
That's so
It's so weird to think about. There's a generation of kids and it's Tom Holland.
Yeah.
But my son is like Miles Morales is the one for him right now.
That's so interesting.
He still loves Spidey and all the other ones, but like he's obsessed with Miles.
It is cool how every generation has had a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because not everyone has had like some of the superheroes.
Yeah.
Like not everyone has a Batman, for example.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, you could argue that actually.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like Robert Pattinson's Batman was like too short-lived. Nobody really cared.
It's not finished yet, though.
We don't know that. It might be.
Robert Pattinson might be doing Dune 3 instead of the Batman 2.
He is doing Dune 3.
Yeah, true.
Ben
But like
Affleck-
my dad is gonna say George Clooney probably.
Yeah, but like Ben Affleck's Spider-Man like wasn't great. Like ours was Christian Bale, but it's like I feel like these new Batmans like I don't feel like your son has Batman right now. You know what I mean? Am I wrong?
It's actually Bat Wheels. It's a kids show on HBO Max, and he loves it.
He's a big fan of the Penguin. He loves HBO originals.
Yeah.
You're getting your 4-year-old son on The Last of Us.
Yes.
For sure. I do want to
How does
ask.
he feel about Game of Thrones?
Didn't like the last season.
I do want to end this episode on a question. While we're talking about your son and movies.
Yes.
As a father, has movies changed for you? So as a dad, do you now view movies differently? Has it enhanced your experience? Because you mentioned like the scene in Thunderbolts with Alexi and Yelena and their moment and how it got you because you thought about your son in that moment.
Yeah.
Or your daughter in that
Yeah.
moment. Has movies changed for you?
Absolutely. I think it gives you a different perspective. One from just a pure entertainment perspective. So I think if I went to the Minecraft movie on my own, I would have been like, that was pretty stupid. But I went with my son, and watching him enjoy that movie and like get excited about it, and then ask to go see it again a few days later.
Cute.
Like that changed how I experienced that movie.
How would you rate it out of 10?
Um,
Movie.
I think 6 or 7.
Perfect. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I had a really good time. Steve's Lava Chicken is a banger, and
Lava chicken.
Go on.
Daisy. I don't know the words.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
However, I think it also just like gives you a relationship with your son or your kids. So like I'm gonna say again, and this goes back to my dad. I went to Revenge of the Sith with him in the theater last weekend, and thinking back to my childhood, I went to Revenge of the Sith in theaters with him when I was a kid when it came out in 2005. And so like, you know, those like you were looking back, wow, 20 is it 20 years? Yes, 20 years.
This was the 20th anniversary, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that was 20 years ago, and I'm still here with my dad. I'm so super grateful to like be able to see it with him. It just happened to be in town here because he lives in Utah on that weekend, so it was like really special to think about like how you experience movies with family, but also like your kids, and like generational wise, it's like there's things to be experienced there and like memories to make. Perspective point, and this is my last point about it. I think about how my kids would see themselves in certain movies, and I love that he loves Spider-Man because, you know, it talks about, and I'm thinking about this because I've seen this 1,000 times in the past like 2 weeks. Anyone can wear the mask. Like, I love that my son can see that example and like feel the ability to be who he wants.
Yeah.
Whatever that is going to be through that like vessel of Spider-Man. And it doesn't matter how, like, it doesn't matter how it is. It's
like
such a good
level
message.
that I've never thought about before. Is like we all talk about the morals that like these movies and stuff are actually like showing and teaching, but when you're actually showing and teaching these morals and values to the people around you who are most going to absorb that and like who it's like most influential to, that is like such a special experience.
Yeah.
You made me cry, Jack.
Well, look at this. I showed you this text from my wife right before Thunderbolts started. My kid was in the bathtub, and he was saying, "All right, let's do this one last time." I'm the one and the only Spider-Man.
I love
and
that.
it's just a perfect example.
Me and Bear Con
We can all see ourselves.
Yeah. Me and Bear Con literally talked before about how, depending on how Beyond the Spider-Verse goes, like it has an argument to be the best trilogy of all time. The Spider-Verse
1,000%.
And it's not even finished yet. That's how good
Exactly.
it is. Yeah.
2027.
As long as they don't drop the ball.
We will have seen Secret Wars by the time that movie comes out.
Well, GTA 6 reference.
We're already been complaining. Why is there not GTA 7?
We still will not have Elder Scrolls 6, which I
Never.
I will give my life for that.
We do have the Oblivion remake, which apparently is really good. So I haven't played it yet.
I do not have time for that, but I wish I did.
Yeah, you're a father. So.
Yeah.
I think that was a very wholesome way to end this podcast episode.
I think we've done it.
I think we've done it.
Yeah.
Jack, thank you for being our first official guest.
Right.
Be sure to follow us on socials again at the Drive-In Movie Pod on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Subscribe anywhere podcasts are. You know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
If you subscribe on YouTube and leave a movie opinion as a comment, any movie opinion on any of our full-length YouTube videos, we will read your...
Or 5-star reviews on podcasts.
Right, or if you follow the podcast and rate 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and then leave a comment or your opinion in the review if you're doing Apple Podcasts, we will read your movie opinion on this podcast and react.
Yeah, and we'll tell you if it's stupid or not.
Right.
And also, please, if you love us, check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
You know, give us a little. We have about 98. We have 98 more $1 Patreon slots available. Limited time only. Give us $1.
So thank you guys for driving in with us. Jack, thanks for driving in with us.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
guys for driving in
This
with us.
was beautiful.
Good episode.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.